Okay, 3 shots. Killed on this target. Aim for the center mass of the red. Don't do it on your first 3. I'll give you 3 more. Don't do it then. You will not urban hunt. You're trying to qualify with 2 weapons. Be sure and use the one you know you can qualify with first. If you do not qualify with your first one, you won't get a chance with another one. Don't fire, don't shoot till I tell you to. Don't nobody pull no arrows till I pass or fail you. Any questions?
First off, thank you for your patience this morning. Again, we're living in a new world right now where we have new restrictions on us with COVID. So thank you again for the patience in the line. Thank you for wearing your mask when you're closer than 6 feet. Let's continue to do that the rest of the morning. That way we're just, again, doing our part for that. For you that don't know me, I'm J.D. Crawford. I'm the Urban Hunt Coordinator for the Arkansas Bowhunters Association, and I work with the cities around the state to conduct these orientations and to conduct these urban hunts, and I'll probably talk to a lot of you on the phone or by email. Next thing, I want to give a big round of applause to the people at Hot Springs Village that helped put this on this morning, took temperatures, that are out here helping us out. Todd, his group, Mr. Bruce, everybody that's out here this morning to get this done. Again, patience and flexibility is the key words today. Again, the ones that's hunted this hunt for years know that this is not normally the way that these orientations go, but again, we're just having to kind of move with the flow here and to get it done. So I'm fixing to go over the rules and the regs for the hunt, talk about a few things, then pass the mic off to Ralph Meeker with Game and Fish, Ronnie Ritter with Hunters Feeding Hungry, Mr. Todd Noles with Hot Springs Village, and then if the game wardens want to say anything, we'll get them up here. So, urban hunt, Hot Springs Village. Now I know some of you are here are hunting other cities. What I'm going to go over are the rules for Hot Springs Village. If you're hunting another city, go to our website, www.arkansasbowhunters.org, and you can see each city's requirements there. Please know them before you go hunt. Hot Springs Village, you got to be 16 to hunt. You can use a crossbow. There are no restrictions on the crossbow other than they have to meet the minimum poundage requirement of 125 pounds. You will hunt out of an elevated stand, out of a deer stand at least 10 foot high. At no time are ground blinds authorized in the urban hunts. We had a couple of issues here in the village a few years ago where people were trying to slip in ground blinds. If we catch you hunting out of a ground blind, you have just lost your right to urban hunt. You're done. So hunt out of a stand only. Must be 50 yards from homes or roadways. You're required to pass shooting proficiency. There is no exemption for shooting proficiencies anymore. Every year you will shoot. Bowhunter education is required. Bowhunter education, if you took the class online, if you're doing the field day to day, bowhunter education is a one-time deal. You take it online or you go to a class. If you take it online, you do a field day, and then you'll get your bowhunter ed card. That's a one-time deal. You don't have to do it year after year after year. Once you get that bowhunter ed card, it's just like your hunter ed card or your boater ed card. It's done for the rest of your life. So, rules specific to Hot Springs Village. I'm going to stress this. You must have a name, a telephone number marked on all stands, feeders, and cameras. If Todd, a game warden, if somebody goes out there and they see a stand without a name, a camera, a feeder, they're going to take it, and it's theirs. If you want it, it's probably going to cost you about $25 to $50 to get it back. So name, phone number on deer stands, feeders, cameras. Do not let us catch someone stealing stands. We've had a rash of that here at the village. Is it somebody that lives close to you or whatever? Cable lock your stands. If you got to, cable lock your cameras and your feeders. We will not stand for thievery of stands. If we catch you stealing stands, you're done urban hunting, period, for the rest of your life. You'll never be able, we'll red X your name and you'll never be able to hunt again if we catch somebody stealing stands. Has everybody got me on that? Must remove all stands, cameras, feeders within 7 days of the end of the hunt. So the hunt here in the village ends on January 31st. By the 7th of February, those stands, feeders, cameras become property of Hot Springs Village. They will have people going around checking spots. So if your stand and stuff here is after February 7th, it is Hot Springs Village property. Don't even worry about coming back and getting it. It's theirs. Must attend the orientation and participate in the hunt here at the village. We're kind of a little bit flexible with that. You can go to Russellville, you can go to the Bay, but you got to come see Zach at the fire department to get him to sign your placard and to get your tags. No intros left near trail streets, dirt roads, covered with leaves. I highly recommend just taking them out with you. Last thing we need is somebody's pet to get into a pile, so just field dress it, get rid of the intros, get it out with you. Tampering or theft of property result in fines and loss of hunting privileges. And so again, I want to stress that, on your stands. Make sure that you're putting your names and stuff on there. Make sure that you're getting them out. Talked to Todd today. Once you get your dash placard, you're going to get that here in a minute. That's your pass to get into and out of Hot Springs Village. Todd will talk about entry and exit here in a minute. That's your pass. You can start setting stands and checking that stuff today. Is that right, Todd? Right. Today, you can start setting stands and going out and checking stuff. You can't bait until, okay, then you can start baiting as of today, right now, if you're going to put out corn. So go out there and check it out. A few more rules. Everybody's got their rules for Hot Springs Village. These are particular to the village also. Got to have your hunting license. That's a no-brainer. If you're from out of state, you've got to have your out-of-state hunting license. You got to have and these things that will be on your person. Your hunting license, your IBEP bow hunter ed card, your urban hunt tags, your blue tags that Ralph's going to talk about, your vehicle dash placard. You're going to go through here in a minute. You're going to pay. You're going to get a dash placard. And then you're going to go into another line, and the village is going to sign it. You're going to be issued 2 tags apiece. That dash placard, when you're out in the woods setting stands, hunting, or doing whatever, is going to be laid up on the dash of your vehicle at all times. If you've got a buddy hunting with you, your dash placard's going to be up there, and his dash placard's going to be on the dash. If a game warden comes by and sees a vehicle pulled off on the side of the road, he's going to look up on the dash, and first thing he's going to look for is that placard. If that placard's not there, he's going to assume that somebody's illegally hunting. He's going to come out to that, probably find you in that tree. And he's going to ask you, are you supposed to be there? And if you've got that placard on you, he's probably going to chew you out. He's probably not going to give you a ticket. But if you're out there illegally, somebody's out there illegally hunting, that's the first way that we'll know it, is they don't have a dash placard. That doesn't give them the right to hunt. So make sure you have it. You're going to pass the shooting proficiency test. You're going to hunt out of an elevated stand at least 10 feet. Names and stuff are going to be on your feeders and stands. You're going to remove everything by February 7th. Let's see here. Zero tolerance policy on deer not being field dressed. We'll talk about that. Ronnie's going to get up here and talk about your donations here in a minute, where the trailer's going to be, and Ralph's going to talk about the requirements. A deer going in that trailer will be field dressed. and put a bag of ice inside the body cavity when you're donating it. We had last year people putting unfield dressed deer in the trailer, which could possibly contaminate all that deer meat. You've got to put your name and information on there. If that happens, you will be getting a phone call from the game warden. So make sure that all deer put in the trailer are field dressed. Tampering or theft of property will result in charges being filed and loss of Hot Springs Village hunting privileges. Residents caught tampering or removing a hunter's equipment will be charged. So if a resident is coming out there messing with your equipment and they prove it, then that resident will be charged. Ideally, on these urban hunts, we want to be as discreet as possible. Get in there, set your stand discreetly. Harvest your deer, get it out, discreet, take it to donate or take it home. We do not want to get in an argument with a resident. If you've got a resident that's driving up and down the road banging pots and pans, if they're out there putting toilet paper around your stand, if they're doing that stuff, you need to call Hot Springs Village PD or a game warden. If they are tampering with or hindering you, they will be charged with interfering with your hunt. Got to be at least 50 yards from trails, parks, golf courses, lakes, private residences. There's a map on our website, www.arkansasbowhunters.org. You'll look there under Hot Springs Village. There's a new current map on there that shows the areas where you can and can't hunt. Ralph's going to talk about an app that will help you navigate that map. There is no antler restrictions here in the village. If it is brown, take it. Your first deer harvested will be an adult deer. Am I clear on that? Adult deer. Not a, If you kill a buck and it's a nice one and you want to have it mounted, you can cape it and then donate the meat. Are we clear on that? We are not turning this hunt into a trophy buck hunt. If the deer comes in front of you and presents a shot, take that deer. That's what we're here for. We're not here for a trophy hunt. We're here to harvest deer to help reduce the population in the village. We don't want to turn this into just killing bucks only. Bucks, does, whatever, take it. Do not, under any circumstances, donate a fawn to Hunters Feeding Hungry. If there's a fawn donated in the trailer, you just lost your hunting privileges for 3 years, period. Okay? So, adult deer only in the trailer and field dressed. Ralph's going to talk about the zones and the harvest information on the back of your placard. I'm going to get back up here in a minute and answer any questions. The way the rest of this day is going to work, Ralph's going to talk, Ronnie's going to talk, Todd's going to talk, and then I'll get back up here. We're going to continue on with this shooting until you're done. How many out here, by a show of hands, need the IBEP field day for your bow hunter ed? Raise your hands. All right, keep your hands up. If you have not shot yet, drop your hand. So all of you've shot that need IBEP. So the ones with their hands, as soon as we get done, you're going to go to the back of the building, to the blue canopy, and you're going to see Carrie, and you're going to start your field day back there. After you've done your field day, then you're going to come back around to this door, and you're going to go in, you're going to pay for your placard, you're going to get your permits, and you're going to get your tags through them, and then you're going to be done for the day. How many people over here in the shoot line need the field day? A bunch. So, as soon as you get done shooting, go back there to the blue canopy, and we're going to start building groups back there. So shoot, don't go back nowhere, just go from shooting straight back to the blue canopy to see Carrie to start your field day. Are we clear on that? How many are here for just IBEP only? They're not urban hunting. I think we've got one or two of those. All right. So again, Ralph, it's yours.
All right. First of all, I want to thank all you guys for showing up today. Without hunters, these urban deer hunts would not be possible. And we've been doing these urban deer hunts since the late 1990s, early 2000s. And we've worked most of the kinks out. The process that we have is pretty seamless. And so what I've got to talk about today is the tagging and checking, and that's very, very important. Tagging and checking is what allows us to help justify these hunts. These hunts are very publicized, they're very visual, so we have to have some kind of justification to continue these hunts, besides just car vehicle collisions. We get a lot of different requests from newspapers, concerned citizens want to know, are you guys tracking the hunts? Are you doing population surveys? And so these game checks are just a part of the puzzle. Okay, so it's important that we tag and we check our deer properly. Okay, that's the most basic thing. And if most of you guys are hunters, you understand that we've been checking deer here in Arkansas since 1938. So it's a very important system. If you harvest a deer in Hot Springs Village, you check it to the Hot Springs Village urban deer hunt. Okay, you don't check it to Zone 13. You check it to the county, so you're either hunting in Garland County or Saline County, and then you check it to the Hot Springs Village urban deer hunt. Am I clear on that? If you harvest a deer in Fairfield Bay urban deer hunt, you will check it to the Fairfield Bay urban deer hunt. Okay. When you get done with your orientation, your proficiency shoot, like JD said, you're going to be issued a dash placard, and you're going to be issued some blue tags. Okay. These blue tags are issued specifically to you. Okay. You're not to borrow somebody else's tag. You're not to lend somebody else your tag. You're not to use old urban tags. Okay. These have HSV, the year, and a specific number. Okay. If you're caught transferring tags, that's a ticket. Okay. That's a citation. So when you harvest a deer, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pull off one of these tags. You attach it to the ear. Okay. Either cut a slit in its ear or through its back hock, and you attach that tag. Once it snaps shut, you don't reuse it. Okay. There's no bag limit in Hot Springs Village. Once you use the tags that are issued to you, come back to the Cortez Fire Station and they'll issue you some more. Okay. If you are issued 2 tags and you shoot 4 deer, you tag 2 of those, run to the Cortez Fire Station, get 2 more tags, and go tag the other 2 that are on the ground. But it has to be tagged with a blue tag before it's moved. Am I clear on that? Okay. Now, the whole process on how you check deer is the same. You can either use your phone, you use a mobile app, or you can use your computer. You're going to check it in, you're going to get a confirmation number. That confirmation number has to be recorded on the back of your dash placard. Okay, it'll ask you where it was harvested, because most of you guys will be hunting several cities, but all of those deer that you harvest in urban deer hunts have to be recorded on the back of that dash placard. Okay. Like JD said, if there's 2 of you in a truck hunting, both of you have to have that dash placard. Now, something that's changed this year, and this is statewide, this is not just urban deer hunts, you have 12 hours to check your deer. So once you harvest that deer in the Hot Springs Village hunt, you tag it with a blue tag, I would encourage you to check it immediately, okay? But starting now, you have 12 hours instead of 24 hours to check deer. So don't forget, once you check that deer, you write that confirmation number on the back of your placard. Arkansas is not a right to retrieve state. Okay, if you harvest or you shoot a deer on the property that you have permission, it runs over to the neighbors. You do not have permission to trespass in order to retrieve that deer. If you think you're going to have issues, okay, before season starts, try to work those out. If you don't think that you're going to be able to work with that neighbor, and you think that it's just not going to be able to overcome, find a new place to hunt. Okay, there's no sense of letting things escalate. If you do harvest a deer, it runs over on somebody's property, you're having issues, contact Hot Springs Village PD. Okay, they'll be able to respond quicker. Our staff, the Game and Fish Enforcement, will assist when possible, but the quickest way to get assistance is going to be through Hot Springs Village PD. Okay. Again, let's be courteous. We are providing a service to the city, but the city is providing an opportunity for us. Okay, so it works both ways. Let's be courteous. Let's be discreet. Let's be safe among all things. We want to continue these hunts. As far as chronic wasting disease, AJ Riggs, Jeremy Brown, and myself will hang around for a little while after this. We'll be happy to answer questions. We are currently not in the CWD zone, so the baiting and feeding restrictions do not apply here. However, you still cannot use natural deer urines, okay? And if you hunt in the Fairfield Bay or the Russellville hunt, there are some baiting and feeding restrictions, and there are some carcass importation restrictions, okay? So if you plan to hunt other cities other than Hot Springs Village, know that there are some CWD restrictions before you hunt there, okay? All right, JD mentioned an app. There's an app called Avenza, A-V-E-N-Z-A, okay? If you download one of these urban hunts and maps, and they're all PDF maps, you can use that app to track you, okay? I know some of these maps are confusing. It shows some off-limit areas, but if you use that app, it will track you on that map, and you'll be able to discern what areas are off-limits hunting, okay? And if you got questions about that app, come see us afterwards, and I'll be happy to talk with you. I also want to reiterate, know before you go, okay? Have a plan on what you're going to do with the deer. Have a plan on what you're going to do with the entrails, okay? I've been there before. You know, you finally find a deer at 10:30 at night. The last thing you want to do when it's 95 degrees is gut the thing, and you're trying to figure out what you're going to do with the gut pile, okay? So have a contingency plan. Know what you're going to do before you go hunting, okay, with those entrails. Any questions for me? That's a good question. We would have opened this year, but COVID hit, and it messed their world all up. So hopefully next year we'll have Little Rock to hunt in as well. All right, any more questions?
Cutting any lanes.
Hey, when can they start baiting like Cherokee Horseshoe, Fairfield Bay, Fairfield Bay, Russellville?
All right, so if you're hunting in Fairfield Bay or Russellville, you're actually hunting inside the CWD management zone, okay? You're hunting in CWD management counties. In those counties, you can start baiting September 1st, and it has to end December 31st. Now, outside of our 21 county CWD management zone, you can start baiting anytime, okay? And it can go the length of deer season. But inside that CWD zone, baiting has to be tied to hunting, and it can only happen from September 1 to December 31st. Cherokee Village is, no, it's out. Oh, we did have some questions about black bears. So currently, Hot Springs Village's city ordinance does not allow the taking of black bears, okay? This urban deer hunt is just that, a deer hunt, okay? The ordinance, the way it is written, does not allow the taking of black bears during black bear season inside the village, okay? And Todd will be happy to talk about that too.
I think somebody had a question about shooting lane cutting out. Yeah, no, there's no cutting of any shooting lane. No, you can't cut anything on concrete.
All right, I'll turn it over to Ronnie Ritter with Arkansas Hunters Feeding the Hungry.
Wow, what a crowd here. I don't think this is the biggest crowd we've ever had, I think, JD. I just want to express my thanks and appreciation to obviously the ABA, Arkansas Bowhunter Association, and Game and Fish, and obviously the POA. It's just a great partnership that we have had for several years. We've been doing these village hunts for 10, 15 years. And I was looking back at the statistics that I keep track of all the urban hunts, and 7 or 8 years ago, y'all harvested over 500 deer in the village, and 250 of them were donated to Hunters Feeding the Hungry. I'd love to see that again. I know the harvest numbers were down across the state last year quite a bit, so we need to shoot a lot of deer. There's a lot of deer everywhere. In fact, I saw 2-3 coming in this morning. So I'm sure everybody's familiar with Hunters Feeding the Hungry. We're a statewide organization. This is our 20th year. We've done well over 1 million pounds, 4 million servings across food pantries, homeless shelters, rehab centers. Very successful program. So, but we need your help. These urban hunts early on are a good source of protein to food pantries, and we started the snack stick program I'll talk about a little bit in just a minute. But if you think about it, I believe that there's 150 deer, a little over 150 deer donated here last year, and that provided a lot of snack sticks with schools across the state. Actually, most schools here in Garland County got these snack sticks. So if you think about a deer, you think, well, one deer really doesn't help, but just a average size 100-pound doe will bone out about 30 pounds. 30 pounds will make 270 packages of these snack sticks, shelf stable, that we put in weekend backpack programs. So this program has just really exploded over the state. We did 70,000 packages of these to over 100 schools across the state, including Mountain Pine, Jessicaville, Cutter, Fountain Lake, Hot Springs, and schools all across the state. So phenomenal program there. And it keeps growing. And I think even this fall, there's probably going to be a greater need because of what's going on. Still a lot of kids out there that need help on the weekend, or sometimes they need help when they come to school first thing in the morning. I've talked to counselors that little Johnny or little Susie would come in and they would just be crying, and they give them something to eat, and it would just change their outlook totally. So they keep some of these things on, in their little pantry to help kids, but most of these are for the weekend snack stick program. But we'll have a trailer set up down at Cortez Fire Station. It'll be set up there, cooler will be running, it'll be ready to go September 1st. And as JD mentioned earlier, don't donate a fawn. You might have 10 pounds of meat with that fawn, and the processor loses money big time. And we can't afford to lose these processors. They're the backbone of our organization. Without processors, we wouldn't be in business. And without you hunters donating, likewise, we wouldn't be. So I appreciate everybody that donates. I'd love to see us do about 250 again this year. That would take care of most of the snack stick programs across the state. I like those big deer donated, Those bucks will bone out probably 50, 60 pounds. So that produces a lot of burger or a lot of snack sticks. So we also have other processors across the state. We have about 70 of them, some of y'all from other parts of the state. So check our website out, arkansashunters.org. There's a processor probably close to you. We've added another urban hunt in West Helena this year, and talking to the Game and Fish, looks like this thing may grow even more in the following years. Little Rock hopefully would be another good location. So any questions for me? We will take any and all your deer. Just field dress it, drop it off in the trailer. Usually we pick it up once a week or maybe less. I know Zachary and the fire department guys have been very helpful with that process. So any questions for me?
That trailer will be there throughout the entire season?
I typically pull it around the 1st of December. When I only start getting 1 or 2 a week, it's sitting there running and using electricity, and they do wear out. So once I start seeing it, getting maybe 1 a week, but I think I pulled it maybe the 1st of December last year. But JD, is there a way to notify everybody when that's pulled, give them like a week's notice?
We'll get Aaron, can send out a map, because everybody will be members of the ABA and should have an email address attached. So then we can send out an email to all the urban hunters and say, hey, we're pulling the trailers.
Okay, so I'll try to give a week's notice, something like that. They'll send out an email, that way everybody will know, because hey, for somebody to want to donate one and it's not there. But once we start getting just, a few trickling in, it's just not worth it to keep it running. So good question. Anybody else?
The first deer, is it mandatory to be donated?
Yes.
The first deer has to be donated. It needs to be an adult deer. And again, the reason those fawns, they might be 8 or 10 pounds of meat. And the processor loses money because they process for about half cost to us. So we've almost lost some processors, especially up around Fairfield Bay.
So
There was,
if that first deer happens to be a nice buck,
I like them nice ones, yeah. We'll take that one.
or you want to, you might want to mount it.
That's what I said earlier. You can tape it out and donate the meat.
Yeah. Yeah, the bigger the better for us, because it costs us about the same to get them processed, whether it's a 100-pound doe or a 200-pound buck, so we like the big ones. Anybody else? Todd, I guess you're next.
Well, on behalf of Hot Springs Village, I want to welcome each and every one of you. I thank you all for coming out this morning. But first and foremost, I want to thank my committee members, Bruce, Ann, Dan, Tom, Paula. They came out this morning and helped us with this, and they're the backbone of common property and forestry and wildlife, and I thank you very much for your help. I'd like to thank Ralph, the Game and Fish Commission, JD, Arkansas Bowhunters Association for helping us out, and Ronnie Ritter. That's a great program, and guys, I can't emphasize enough how much I promote that, the way they help needy families and needy children, and you guys are the backbone of that. And the more you donate, the more they can give. Well, our goal this year is for Ronnie Ritter to call me and scream and say, "Hey, we got to stop, man. I ain't got."
I won't call you.
He'll take as many as he can get. But one thing, this year the rules of Hot Springs Village, JD had mentioned some of them a while ago. It changed a little bit for this year. We're going to go back next year to where everything's the same. But this year, if you are a member of Hot Springs Village, if you live here or own property inside Hot Springs Village, you are allowed to hunt till January 31st. If you are a non-member of Hot Springs Village, the hunt will end for you December 31st. So, and we're allowing you 2 weeks to remove your stands. So if you're a non-member, December 31st at sunset is your last day. You got 2 weeks to remove your stands and feeders and things. And if you're a member, you have until January 31st at sunset. So we give an extra month to the members of Hot Springs Village this year. So, but that, like I said, that'll change next year to where everybody gets about the same time, and it ends the same time. One thing that we have here in Hot Springs Village, we're a proud community. We've got a beautiful community. We've got a beautiful forest, and we want to keep it that way. And in the past, we've had lots of littering for corn bags and feed bags, and we just ask that you please pick up after yourself. If you leave feed bags out or whatever, you know it. We picked up several of those last year, corn bags, and I think I had a whole truckload of them. So just please pick up after yourself. Be courteous to your fellow hunters and the property owners. We have some property owners here that's not really for this urban deer hunt, and you may encounter situations with them. But like Ralph and JD both said, call the Hot Springs Village PD, call the Hot Springs Village Public Works, and they can get in touch with me, and we'll make sure that we help you out and we get it resolved. Just be courteous to the property owners. Don't argue with them. Don't gripe at them. Just tell them have a great day. Thanks. It was nice meeting you, and drive off and call the Public Works or the PD, and we'll go out and have a talk and see if we can't get the issue resolved. Now, when you look at your hunting map, it's going to show you our common property. Now, our common property is property that we own, Hot Springs Village. But just use your common sense. That's not eligible hunting ground. You can hunt common property, but make sure that you're 50 yards away from any structure, road. We have walking trails. Make sure you're 50 yards away from walking trails and lakes. And like I said, in our roadways and stuff. And people, they walk their dogs in here. Just as JD said, to have a successful hunt, try to be invisible. We urge you, please be as discreet as possible with your hunting. The less you get seen, the better off we are. So find you a spot. I hope you have a successful hunt. I hope you enjoy our village, enjoy the outdoors, and we urge you again try to help out with Hunters Feed the Hungry. They're a great organization. They do great work. Zach Sykora is going to come up and say a few things. I didn't forget you, Zach. Before I get through, I want to thank Zach and Jason Miller. They have been a great help to me. Zach's assisted me for all year with this, kind of guiding me in the right direction, and I thank them very much. They're very knowledgeable, and they've been so much help. And they will be at the Cortez Fire Station. If you have to go get any tags, extra tags, you can see Zach or Chief Miller, some of them at Cortez. They'll fix you up. They'll get you some more tags, however many you need. And we urge you to take as many as you can. We do this hunt to try to lower our population here in the village. We are overpopulated, and we urge you to take as many as you can. Just be discreet about it, and be courteous to your fellow hunters and to your property owners. Now I'll turn it over to Zach. Zach, does anybody got any questions for me before I let Zach speak about the village?
How long can you leave your stands up? The test said 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I said, 2 weeks. After the hunt ends, you can leave them up 2 weeks.
No, from start to finish. Like, if I said on Monday, when do I have to pull them?
Are you a member of the village?
No.
All right, December 31st ends for you at sunset, so you have 2 weeks at sunset to remove your stand.
So we can keep it there open for 2 weeks.
You leave it there the whole
You're talking about during season. How long can we leave it?
Oh, you can leave it. You can put it out today and leave it to December 31st.
Well, the test said for 2 weeks. No longer 2 weeks.
Yeah, you can put it up today and leave it until the end of your hunt. You just have 2 weeks after your hunt ends to pull it out. But you're allowed to go put stands up today. But like I said, you can look at the map that they have on ABA, and when you go to that area and you find that common property where you can put your stand, just use caution about being 50 yards away from anything. Now, a bunch of these little slivers are common. You've got undeveloped lots that's surrounding it, and if you shoot one, they may get on that undeveloped lot. You know, by law, we try to get a hold of that lot owner and ask them permission, but if it's just right there, just go ahead and retrieve it if there's no structures or anybody that's there to, I don't want to leave a deer out there, because sometimes it takes us a while to figure out who owns that undeveloped lot. And we don't want to waste any meat.
Shooting lanes.
Yeah, there's no cutting of trees or limbs or anything like that on our common property. It just stays the way it is when you get there. Anything else, JD, you got something?
No, I was going.
Anything else? All right, Zach?
All right, guys and girls. Obviously, there is a lot of people here this year. So, as they've said, be courteous of each other, fellow hunters. If you walk in the woods and see a stand, don't get in confrontation. Go to another spot. There's plenty of area to hunt in the village, okay? We don't want to have problems. We want it to go smooth. We want it to be a good, successful hunt. Ronnie does a fabulous job with Feed the Hungry. He does amazing stuff for the kids and the community, for needy families. So the more deer you take, the more families you can actually help. That's kind of the way we're trying to focus these hunts, is because obviously we have a lot of people. We can do a lot of good, okay? We can kill several deer a piece and feed a lot of families. So be kind, courteous. Another thing, on the village map this year, there was a change with the border, the boundary of the village. There was some property purchased on the north side of the village off of Cortez Road. So the boundary is not where it was in that area. It has shrunk. It's not village property anymore. So if you hunt off of Cortez Road, off the north side of the village, make sure you pay attention to that map and know your boundaries so you don't get on public or private property on the outside of the village, okay? Another thing, obviously a lot of people know me and know the accident that I had last year. I fell out of a tree here in the village during the urban hunt, and by the grace of God, I'm sitting here with you today, able to talk about it. Still a little touchy, but The stuff that ABA does with JD and that field day that's going to go on the side of the building, a lot of people blow it off. A lot of people, oh, I've been hunting for so many years, it's not going to happen to me. I'm safe. I'm cautious. Nothing bad's going to happen. Guess what? I was one of those people. And guess what? It happened to me. I tied off. I just did not that morning for some reason tie onto my lifeline. I just climbed the tree and I tied off once I got in the top of the tree and my lock on. I hunted, harvested deer that morning. I was packing my stuff up, legit just standing, facing the tree at my backpack, put my stuff in my backpack, put my backpack on my back right after I disconnected and my platform broke. I was standing there doing nothing and the cables on my lock-on broke, okay? Freak accident. I fell 25 feet. I suffered many broken bones, a collapsed lung. The medic was a good friend of mine that I work with. He said, Zach, honestly, if you'd have been there another 30 minutes, he said you probably would have died from suffocation from the pressure of your chest cavity. Luckily, I was able to get a phone call out to my wife. I called her 21 times, had zero cell phone service where I was hunting, couldn't even get a text, but by the grace of God, I was able to get a phone call out and just say help. I couldn't breathe. All I could say was help. It's a very disturbing sound from what I hear of the way I sounded. So, be safe, be cautious, use your lifelines, use your safety equipment, check your stands. Seriously, guys, this is for y'all. Don't ruin it. Don't get in confrontation with villagers. Don't get in confrontation with each other. This is all for y'all. This is fun. I've done it ever since the village opened. I've done it for years. And it's very enjoyable and very rewarding. You get a chance to do stuff here that you can't do anywhere else. So, thank y'all for coming, and just be cautious and courteous.
All right, real quick, I mentioned that Hot Springs Village is not in the CWD zone. However, we will be collecting CWD samples, okay? Any deer that goes into that Hunters Feeding the Hungry trailer will be sampled because of our protocol with developing those snack sticks. However, if you have a deer that you're going to keep, or you harvest a deer somewhere else outside Hot Springs Village and you're interested in having it tested for chronic wasting disease, we have a network of freezers throughout the state. You can go on our Game and Fish website, agfc.com, and you can find a map and a list of all those locations, okay? All you got to do is cut the head off with about 4 inches of neck, put it in a bag. There's a little tag you fill out, rip off one part of the tag, you keep that, okay? Then you can check your results online, okay? So if you're interested in having your deer tested for chronic wasting disease, go on our website and find those locations of those drop-off freezers. All right?
Everybody slow down.
All right. I see everybody trying to mirror back that way. All right. Going to wrap this up here in a minute. A couple of things. Ralph talked about the baiting. The ones that are here in line shooting, make sure that you qualify with your most proficient weapon first. If it's a crossbow, if it's compound bow, whatever. Because if you walk up to that line and you shoot and you fail, you do not urban hunt. You don't get to try with something else. Your first weapon of choice better be the one you can hit the target with. Then you can come back and you can try your crossbow or your recurve. But you got to pass first to get the chances to try with the others. Are we clear on that? Make sure you got 3 arrows. When you walk up to that line and you start shooting, you got to shoot 3 arrows consecutively. You can't shoot 2 and then go down there and pull 1 and shoot it back. Make sure you got 3 arrows. If you're hunting in the urban hunts and you're hunting Hot Springs Village, your first deer will be an adult deer donated to Hunters Feeding Hungry. You're going to go to Russellville. Your first deer at Russellville is donated to Hunters Feeding Hungry. The Bay, Cherokee, Horseshoe. Every city that you hunt, that first deer harvested has to go to Hunters Feeding Hungry. Let's do our part this year, and let's, again, Ronnie said he wouldn't do it. Let's donate as many deer in that trailer here in the village as we can to give back to the cities. Lastly, I want to thank the staff of the ABA, my wife Carrie, Wade that's running the line, Dwayne, Dion Furneaux, James Wheat, Patrick Tucker, Mr. Travis Maynard's here, Brian Emmons and Miss Janice are inside at the registration, Mr. Aaron Nixon, Patrick Tucker, Xander. Did I miss anybody? These guys, we travel and we give up 5 to 6 weekends a year. We volunteer to go around to teach the courses, to do the orientations, and we give up a lot of time. So I want you to give them a round of applause for being out here, for helping out, to make sure this happens and goes off smoothly. Again, thank y'all for y'all's patience today. If you're within 6 feet, make sure you're wearing your mask. Try to social distance as much as possible. Now, if you have shot, if you have your IBEP card and all that stuff, I want you to make a line from here back down where you started. So you've got your IBEP card, you've shot, all you want to do is pay. I want you to start that line over there. Everybody else stay where you at. Trying to keep everybody distant and organized. Start the line right here. I'm sorry. Everybody be flexible. All right. All my folks that have shot and need the IBEP field day, go back to the back blue tent. Still got to do the field day if you did that online. All my shooters, I want y'all to line back up where y'all were down this building so we can start the shooting back up. So if you need, again, the IBEP field day, go back and see Carrie. You're going to start that process down there. My shooters are moving out of the way. If you're in the shooting line, once you get done, if you need the IBEP field day, shoot, go right back to the blue tent, and you'll be put in a group to go through the field day. After that's done, you're going to come in line, you're going to pay for your permits, get your tags, and you're out of here. Any questions? Thank y'all. Y'all have a good day. Have a safe hunt. Be safe. Thank y'all.